Well, hello everybody. It's Michelle here. It's been a long time since I've done a video, so I thought I would come and share what I've been up to. I was cleaning out my room and I came across this huge roll of tickets that I had that I kind of forgot about. And I thought, well, I'm going to try to figure something out that I can do with them. So my first thought was to try to alter them. So this is what I came up with. I came up with, you know, uh, should I cut the pictures out and separate them to cover both tickets? Should I just make one square, a bigger square to cover more of the tickets, two bigger ones to cover all of the ticket, and then kind of back to sort of an original, sort of a style like that where it covers the majority of the ticket. But to be quite honest, I didn't like this process. I like the process. I don't enjoy the final product. And I think it's because of like the color of the tickets. It's a little bit off, but anyway, so I gave up on this idea and decided I don't have enough tickets yet. Let's make more. So what I did is I decided to make my own tickets. So this is what I started with. This was my kind of prototype. I I just measured out 2 inches of it's from a file folder. I measured out 2 inches this way and then 2 inches that way. And then I took my We Are Memory Keepers corner chomper and made all the corners, the little stub ends. And then I used a pair of these Fiskars paper edgers, the stamp one, the ones that cut like a stamp, like they've got like a stamp edge. Anyhow, so that's what I did, and I cut out the pictures a little bit smaller, and I've got some fabric here too, and I put them on there, and I really like the way that turned out. So I kind of kept going. So the next one I made after my prototype is I went for this one, and this is wallpaper fabric. I saw somebody embossing white cardstock. So I embossed some white stuff. I don't think this was cardstock actually, but anyhow, so I embossed some pages just to see if I enjoyed it, and I did. So anyhow, then there's another piece of fabric and some more wallpaper. And then I did the strip of 5. And I really think that's just gorgeous. So then I thought, well, let's try, because my ticket pack, it's 2 tickets, like it's 2 tickets attached together in the middle. So I thought, okay, let's try that. So I did the 2 tickets all the way along the edge of that, and quite enjoyed how that turned out as well. And then, so I wasn't quite ready to stop yet. So the next one I did is I tried some Edith Holden pages, and which is quite pretty. You see, if you look at the first one, some of the edges are distressed on the inside, not on the outside. Some are distressed on the outside, not on the inside. And this one here, I did both edges, which actually don't mind the look, especially with these images from I'll show you the book. The book is the Concise British Flora in color, and I just got this from Amazon from their used books section. Anyway, the images are really gorgeous. So, and then I used the Edith Holden, I think I mentioned. And then I had, then I had some wallpaper pieces. There's the embossed piece. And then some more, this wallpaper, which was really pretty, but I don't think I'm going to use this in my lifetime. So I think we're going to use some more today on the next one, because I really like using the wallpaper actually, because it's really pretty. And then this was the last one I just finished, and I thought I'm going to turn my camera on and show you guys what I'm up to. This so this is images from that same book, and I embossed the images. But as this one, you can't see it really clearly, but you can kind of tell the embossing cut right through the paper. So I kind of messed that one up a bit, but that's okay. I still like the end result. Okay, so I'm going to show you exactly what I did. So the first thing I did is I took a piece of file folder. This is just a regular, sorry about the noise. Just a regular file folder. It's 11.5 inches tall, and it doesn't matter the width because we're going to be cutting it. And oh, and I should probably mention too, I am using tools. You guys, I don't know. I hope you have, but if you don't, there are other ways to do things. So first tool we're going to use is this, and it's what it's called. It's a tracing wheel, and it's for sewing. You use it kind of on tracing paper to mark patterns and mark your fabric and that kind of thing. If you don't have one of these, that's fine. You can use a sewing machine or just draw in lines. Or really, if you've got the patience, you could line up your ruler and just make pin marks to give you that perforated edge. However you want to make a perforated edge. This is what I'm using today. You'll also, another thing that comes in handy is pinking shears. If you don't have one of the Fiskars paper edgers, pinking shears will work just fine. They work really well on the fabric. So this is my paper pinking shears, and then I have only for fabric, because never should the two meet. And then I use the We Are Memory Keepers Crocodile Corner Chomper. And what this does is I'm going to show you what it does. You just put the corner, this is the stub side. Oh boy, I was really off, sorry. So the stub side, you just put in there, and it just chomps the corner like a ticket. And then the other side, which is a scallop edge, which I actually never use, and it gives you that kind of, sort of rounded edge. Anyhow, so that tool comes in quite handy too. If you don't have that tool, I think you can use like a hole punch. Probably not the 1 inch. I would go with a smaller one. I don't have it in my stuff right now, but you could probably, like, it would give you a big edge like that with your circle punch. But I'm not using the circle punch today, so. Okay, so the first thing I do, because the tickets are 2 inches wide, I'm sticking with the 2 inches. So I'm just going to take my ruler, and I just line up all my straight edges, and I line it up for the 2 inches. I think you can see. And then I'm just going to cut off 2 inches of that. So then that's going to be scrap for another day. I've got this strip of 2-inch manila file folder. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my my tracing wheel, and then I'm just going to line up my straight edges here at the 2-inch mark, and then I'm just going to make my perforated edge. So that's what the rotary wheel does, or not rotary wheel, the tracing wheel. I guess it's kind of rotary, it turns in a circle. And then, so I'm just going to keep doing that along the edge of this strip, and it just gives me that perforated edge. So, and I'm just going to go along every 2 inches, because that'll be my tickets. Sorry if I'm rushing. I feel like I have to rush. I'm going to try to slow down a bit. And now these tools that I'm using are mostly for sewing. The OmniGrip rulers, the see-through rulers, which are so handy because you can it's just easy. Anyway, and it's an Olfa rotary cutter. And this one is for paper, and then I have another one that's for fabric. And that, like my scissors, my fabric scissors never get in contact with paper, and my paper scissors will never cut the fabric because it's too dull. And so what we're doing here is oh, I missed one. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so well, I screwed up there because I was talking. So we'll go, you know what I'm going to do? Sorry about that. If I knew how to edit videos, I would completely edit out that part. But since I have a scrap that's real handy, we're going to start over. And I should have had this ready, but I didn't think to turn on the camera when I was, you know, halfway through the others that I had done. So we'll just line that up every 2 inches. And I think, like I was saying, they're all sewing related tools that can be used for paper crafting. If you don't mix up your tools, don't mix up your scissors especially. It's just like your needle in your sewing machine. You don't, if you use it on paper, don't use it on fabric. You'll have nothing but trouble with your machine. Well, I do anyway. Oh, actually, okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So what I'm going to do actually is just cut this last one off. And I always just line up straight edges, line up lines, and it makes it really easy. And so there, we've got our strip of 5. And I just give them a little bend because we're gonna be bending them after, or we're gonna be, you know, cutting out the little corners after. Okay, so the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna choose a page, and I'm not gonna take forever to choose a page, but something where I like, something like that has a nice section of flowers, or whatever image you're looking at, you know, that will cover most of the tickets. Like, I think I like this one because of the blue in there. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this one out. And then I think what I'll do is just kind of go, I think this will look good. So I'm just going to put that strip there so it kind of gives me a guide as where to cut. I'm not cutting my folder strip. I'm just cutting the paper. And this is just a rough sort of cut just to start. So then I'll go about 2 inches here. And then we'll get those out of there. And this is what I'm left to work with. So then what we need to do is cut these into squares. Cut these into squares to each fit into there separately. Like if you look at the way those are cut out. So what I've found out is that 1 5/8 is a good cut. A good measurement to fit into there. Unless, of course, you want it to cover the entire square. If you want it to cover the entire square, then it would be 2 inch squared, right? Like 2 inches this way and 2 inches this way. But I like that it looks like a ticket. So I just kind of start with the top, just cut off that top edge. And that's where I kind of start my measuring from. So I'll start like, I'll actually turn it this way. And so then I've got my 2 inches, and then I just cut them out, and I try to keep them in order because it was this one I sort of did in the order of the picture, and I think it really looked kind of cool. So I'm going to try to keep these in order. I've had a few little mishaps along the way, so things did get out of order, but and if you look in that 2 inch square, you can kind of see what pictures you're going to end up with in that square. That it's okay. I like it. It's still very organic, you know. So 2 inches there. This bottom piece is going to be a little weird, but it's got some nice writing. I like the font that was used in this book. So that in and of itself is decorative. You know, like the image is not that great, but the font is quite nice. So I'll probably, okay, so what I'm going to do is just leave that like that. This one here, I am going to start by measuring 1 5/8. I'm not always a measurer. I am when I sew, but not with my paper stuff. But I'm just going to measure the first one because I find that it looks, to me, it looks a little bit funny if your squares aren't the same size throughout the tickets, the ticket strip. So I'm just going to measure 1 5/8 for both sides, and then just kind of see what image I have in there. Because I kind of want to end up with, actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to cut this bottom one off. I'll cut off this side. And then we're going to measure from that side. So we'll just go 1 5/8. Whoops. I'm kind of used to using metric, so when I have to revert to imperial measurements, I get kind of confused. But I'm one of the lucky ones. I grew up in an era when we started out imperial and then had to learn metric, so that worked out in my favor. So that one was actually a little big, so we're just going to cut that there. Let's see where that will sit on the square. Well, that looks pretty good. That looks sort of centered, and it looks pretty good, I think. So all I'm going to do now is take each of the next pieces and just kind of try to center it on where I want most of the images. And then I will just try to follow the teeth marks of those scissors. Chop that off. And just do that with the rest of the 5 squares. And then, so then that one will go on the top of our, on the top. That will be our next one. Or that was the last, no, that was our next one. Okay, so then this one, I will take this one and put it on top. And then just try to see what I want the most of. I think I like that blue that's in there, so I'm just going to do that. Okay. Just keep turning and cutting. And then last one. And now because I put this one on the top, I know that that's the next one in the squares. Okay, so third, and now this one here, this image, I really would like to get most of that. So I'm going to put it kind of up in that corner up there. So we'll just start cutting from there. Cut from there. Oh, I missed a little off, but that's okay. And I haven't decided yet if I want to ink the edges or not. Sometimes I really like inked edges and sometimes not. So, I don't know. Okay, let's just put those there for now. So that's the third. That's the fourth. And I want to make sure to get the writing in there. Or the font, because I do like that part of this paper. So we'll just do that. And these Fiskars scissors, I mean, my kids, I have a 29-year-old and a 31-year-old. My 29-year-old was the artist in the family, and when she was little, I had to buy every craft supply for kids out there. And these were part of a kids crafts. So, and I probably bought them 20 years ago. So I honestly have no idea where you can buy them these days. Anyway, so there's that. Now, to ink or not to ink? That's the question. I think that's upside down. Yeah. Yeah. Do I want to ink? So, I'm going to ink only because I have the Edith Holden ones that I did. I actually didn't ink the paper. I just inked the edge of the tickets. And I think when I finished this, I went, I probably should have inked the picture. So I think I'm gonna ink, and you know what? Really lightly. I'm just gonna go really, really kind of quickly. Like I don't want it super, super distressed, but it just gives it a bit of, you know, like a little bit of color. I feel like I'm all over this camera, aren't I? Sorry about that. So it's just really, really light. I know, we all hate watching people ink. It's, sometimes it's one of those kind of necessary evils. Just get this all done here. It's, like I said, very, very light. I didn't go crazy. Okay, so next thing we're gonna do is I'm just gonna take these images and give them a glue. Yeah, and if I had been thinking, I would have had most of this done, but then it's not really a tutorial, is it? Well, not that this is a tutorial, it's more of a, this is how I do things. It never really takes that long anyway. And so there are other options with these stamps, or not stamps, tickets, is you can sew around the edges too, which is interesting. I really like it for this one. I think it's really, really pretty. I think they all look so pretty. But I don't think it's necessary. It adds another little element of prettiness, but they're quite, I think they're beautiful on their own. I'm so excited about these stamps. Not that I needed any more. I was actually trying to find something to do with the stamps, the tickets I already had. But anyway, that didn't happen. So, yeah, so I don't know. I'm going to have to give that one some further thought. I think what I'll do is I'll just leave that roll of tickets sitting out, and I'll look at it every now and again and go, what am I going to do with that now? So there we have the images all glued on, and that didn't take long at all. So you have your tickets, your ticket stubs already, or your tickets, not stubs. So then the next thing I'm going to do is take the corner chomper, and I'm going to do it on the stub side, and I'm just going to chomp off all the corners, just like that. And like I said, you can use your hole punch, maybe a bigger one, a slightly larger hole punch than the smallest, so that you get, you know, kind of that stub edge. And then the next thing I do is just fold each one and put that corner in, unfold, and just go along the whole strip. So even though there are five items, 5 images, 5 tickets, 5 things to do, it's still a fairly quick little craft, unless you then decide to make, like in the quilting world or sewing world, we called them twinchies. There's inchies and twinchies. The inchies are an inch square. And what you do is you take a big piece of fabric or paper and you sew all over it, you know, with your free motion sewing, and then you cut it up into inch squares, and you get really neat effects on each one. And you can do it with you know, 2-inch squares, and whatever you can do with fabric, you can do with paper. So this, in a sense, would be a twinchy. So then we're done. We could be done at this point. A little bit of distressing. Actually, I like this top edge to have a little bit of a... I just catch the edge of it. Oh, I think my scissors might be getting dull. Oh. Anyhow, just to make it look like official tickets. There, that one worked better. And then I would maybe just, you know, just distress the edges. I don't think it needs heavy distressing, unless, of course, you want something really, really grungy. Then you might want to, you know, go further in and distress it a lot further. This pleases me. Because like I mentioned earlier, I like distressed items, but not everything has to be distressed for me. Sometimes I just like pretty paper all on its own. And then I would just do the little fold there, just do the top of that. And so I think that might be it. So if you look at these, so if you look at that, and then this one here, which was the Edith Holden images. That one I sewed around but didn't distress. This one is Botanical Images. I didn't distress the outside, but I did distress around the inside, and these ones are the ones that I embossed. I don't know if you can see, but it's kind of cool. Might be a little busy, but this one here I think is particularly pretty. Anyway, so there's that one. And then this one, which is a slightly fussier work, you know, cutting out the images to make, you know, to have two, so that, and of course there's a, you know, a perforated line down the middle of that one too. And I know these holes are very huge, but I actually like the kind of the quirkiness of it, if you want to call that quirky. I'm not sure. And this is probably by far my most favorite. I love the fabric in there, love the wallpaper, and then the embossed one right in the middle. I think that is just absolutely gorgeous. I really do. I really like it. I wish I could remember where I got whose name. I'm so sorry. I watch so many videos that I cannot keep track of, you know, who I got what ideas from. I tried to start my own book of ideas and the crafters that I got them from, but it just gets crazy. I sometimes, you know, in the morning when I'm having my coffee, I'll just sit and watch YouTube videos, you know, and then I'll just screenshot things that I really like, and I'll just put it on my desktop. And of course, by the end of my viewing, I don't remember whose video I watched to get that idea from. So if somebody out there knows, you know, who those came from, these embossed cards, you know, by all means, you can mention them in the video, in the comments below, and I'll most definitely give them credit. Anyhow, thank you so much for watching, and we will see you soon. Take care. Bye.